Okay, so Vincent James with Red Elephant joins me now for Liberty One TV. Vincent, thank you so much for talking to us. I know a lot's been going on since Sunday. You were at the Berkeley Patriot Prayer Rally on Sunday, correct?
Yeah, the Berkeley rally wasn't the Patriot Prayer one. We were out there all weekend. The Patriot Prayer rally was supposed to be for Saturday in San Francisco and Christie Field, which was also canceled.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Berkeley rally was the Say No to Marxism in Our Schools rally, and that was also canceled. But as you can see, with the black-clad anarcho-Marxists, always something happens, no matter who's there. So.
And as far as you being there Sunday, I guess kind of what did you kind of walk me through your day's worth of events as it kind of all played out?
As far as Sunday goes, okay, so we were the night before. We had spent the night over at the Kyle Chapman's house watching the fight, and we all decided that we're not gonna, the event was canceled, and some of us decided that we're gonna go there and just see how it is. If it's a bunch of normie liberals, then we could have some open discussion and dialogue, which actually started out that way. So a few of us showed up. Most of us didn't, because we had over 400 confirmed to show up there on Sunday in Berkeley. Mm-hmm. And so most people didn't show up. I would say that there was only about 12 or 15 of us that did. So we showed up, and right off the bat, they checked us at the gate of the park for any sort of anything: ski masks, shields, sticks, pepper spray, confiscated my selfie stick, everything. And we walked in, and it started out for the first couple hours, at least, or maybe for the first hour, open dialogue was being had. There was a bunch of just normie liberals there.
Now, when you say really quick open dialogue, what dialogue are we talking about? Like, I hate Trump, I like Trump. What are we talking about here?
No, yeah, I mean, there was plenty of people that were saying, like, I hate him, chant their normal chants, things like that. But a lot of us were a lot of the normies, the normie liberals were willing to talk with us, which is that's what we're there to do.
And when you say normie liberals, you're talking about people that aren't the alt left or the Antifa in the masks and stuff. Is that what you're talking about?
Right. Yeah. The normie liberals are the people who won't cause violence.
Okay.
For no reason.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, I mean, there was plenty of the people that were just calling us Nazis and stuff like that, obviously. But some people were willing to talk, and we were talking with people. And that even started to get heated, though. A lot of the leftists who weren't even Antifa, or didn't seem to be, weren't dressed like them at least, started, pushing people, taking people's phones, knocking phones out of people's hands, and started to cause violence. Now, the police at that point were taking care of things. They were taking people down. I mean, a lot of the leftists got arrested, and for the violence that they were causing. But for the most part, people were talking. Antifa hadn't still showed up yet. Now, fast forward just maybe an hour later, all of a sudden a huge march comes in, about 2,000 people. And a huge truck shows up and starts handing out shields and sticks and whatnot. And at that point, we're all on the other side of the street, outside of the park, because I couldn't get back in because I had a ski mask on. They wouldn't let me in with the ski mask. Well, so I'm all the way on the other side of the park, and someone says, "We got to leave. We got to go right now," because we're vastly outnumbered, obviously, and we know how they are. They like to try to kill people. Mm-hmm. So we were out of there. We started walking. We got a ride with someone back to my car, and we decided to swoop around and see if there was any of our people left, just to make sure that they weren't getting hurt. And obviously there was some people left, as we've seen the videos on Twitter and Facebook. people getting beat down, a 16-year-old boy and his father getting beat down by the Antifa members. Another man who was with us got his ribs broken, ended up in the hospital, being beat by the alt-left Antifa members. Luckily, a reporter for his name's Al something, black gentleman, covered him up as he was getting beat. Basically, used his body to cover the other Trump supporter, I guess you would call him, up to stop them from beating him. Many atrocities happened as we were driving around trying to see, and we couldn't even make it in. I mean, there was the people in the streets. No one had permits. They pulled out loudspeakers. They started marching. None of them had permits. They came around, blocking all the streets. And we finally started driving, around the park. We're kind of circling the park looking for people to pick up. Mm-hmm. Well, something happened because we saw this Valero gas station. And you can go on our YouTube channel. We were live the entire time. We saw this Valero gas station, and there was this group of people surrounding, almost like a lynch mob, surrounding something at this gas station. No cops in sight. And we're like, something's going on at the gas station. So we saw we're like, okay, so something's going on at the Valero gas station. And so we make a U-turn, come around to this gas station, and at that point, a cop is finally arriving just as we are. And we're like, okay, something's going on at this gas station. So we pull around, and we had three of us. The guy in the back took the live stream, got out, and we figured out it was one of our friends, Arthur Shopper, who I'm sure you've seen the videos, was basically chased down the street, sprayed with urine and pepper spray and glitter, and he held up against this wall. He was sitting down against this wall at one point during his kind of trying to get away, and they were spitting on him. There's video of this. You could see the spit just flying on his arms and on his face. And he ended up at the gas station, and our guy got out and kind of was like, "Hey, we're here. Come on in this car." And he was like, "Thank God!" Like, he got into the car, and we all got into the car, and as we could hear them all saying, "Get out of our town, you fascist Nazis!" And so we swoop around the block to try and get away. I mean, people were surrounding our car, and the press was all surrounding everywhere. Mm-hmm. And we're trying to get away, and someone starts to follow us in their car. Someone gets in their car from the gas station and starts to follow us. And we see him pull up and flick us off next to us, and then try to get behind us. And I slammed on my brakes, gave a pretty big jolt to everyone in the car. But I just came to a complete stop and got behind him and tried to record his license plate. He was trying to follow us the entire way. I noticed him behind us before, but I just thought that, whatever. And so once I got behind him, and we came to a stoplight, he put on his reverse lights to make it seem like I don't know if he was planning on just reversing into my car, or if he was just kind of crazy and was trying to show that he was going to and try to make us scared or something. Mm-hmm. But he put on his reverse lights, and this is all on my footage on the YouTube channel. And then eventually, since I was able to get behind him and kind of win that battle. We were going straight, and he kept going straight, and he was slowing down to see if I was going to turn, and I pretended like I was going to go straight all the way until 3/4 through this cross street, and then I veered off real fast and booked it down the road, and then flipped to right. And he eventually, I ended the live stream because all throughout the weekend, Eugene Antifa, Berkeley Antifa, were tweeting out the Red Elephant's locations all throughout the city because we were live streaming. We live stream a lot. Mm-hmm. And so we ended the live stream for our protection. But what you don't see on the live stream is that this guy caught back up to us, and I had to eventually, and I don't know what he has or who he has in the back of the car or what he has, but I eventually had to. We came to a 4-lane street. And there was 3 lanes of cars going straight, and I was in the left lane in the left turning lane. Mm-hmm. And he was right behind me. He got right behind me, And I eventually, once the light turned, right about when the light turned green, I said to the guy in the back of the car, I said, tell him we're turning right. So from the left turn lane, I had to flip a right, a hard right, in front of 3 straight cars. And, he was stuck. He couldn't do anything. We finally got away. Now, a few blocks later, trying to get out of the city, it was a mess. We came across a parking lot. Now, the person who was in there, kind of trying to scare us off, said that it was not the police station, which I looked it up, and it was not the police station. We came to a parking lot with a mixture of CHP, BPD, and Alameda County sheriffs. Had the Alameda County sheriff squads in the back, BPD squads in the back left, and then the CHP on the front left. Inside the building, we could see through the window, there was at least 100 officers in there, a mixture of all 3 departments. I told David, I said, get out. We weren't live streaming at this point, but I told him to get out and record this on your phone, which he did. And he started to record all the CHP, then he got to the BPD, then he got to the Alameda County Sheriff squads, and then all of a sudden a cop comes out of the building and he says, you better get out of here before you get into some trouble, get off the property, basically saying that he was going to arrest us. And we were trying to tell him, hey, we're being followed, and we want to know, why you guys are just sitting here while people are getting their heads beat in the streets, and you guys retreated from the park. Because at this point, the police, shortly after they pulled up with that truck with shields and sticks and passing them out to all the Antifa members, there was a stake truck, like a huge truck, like a flatbed truck. The cops booked it out of Berkeley. They left the park because they were scared. So the cop told us to leave, and so we got that on film, and that's also on the YouTube channel as well. At that point, I think we tried to make one more pass near the park to see if some people were there. Oh no, we dropped Arthur off at his car and then tried to make one more pass to see if people were there, and then eventually just left the city altogether. Because people have, like I said, all taken pictures of my license plate, tweeting it out online, Eugene Antifa, Berkeley Antifa, Portland, Rose City, basically tracking our locations all throughout the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Friday. And so we booked it out of there, and it was sad to see the few stragglers left behind, the 3 or 4 people that were left that stayed later than probably they should have, who got basically beat in the streets just for believing a certain way that they don't agree with.
No, I mean, I gotta tell you, this sounds like you were in a total war zone. I mean, this sounds like something that you would see like on, like 13 Hours or Black Hawk Down or Saving Private Ryan. You guys are in this speed chasing car scene, and they're following you and they're tracking you. I guess my biggest question is, have they ever tracked you like this before? And now, do you plan to still keep this going, knowing that they are essentially tracking the red elephants now?
Oh yeah, I think it's fun, honestly. It's pretty fun. I mean, it's kind of a high. Plus, no one's ever had the courage to come up to me and do anything to me yet. And, the moment that comes, trust and believe that they're going to have something for them, because I'm not going to stand around like Joey Gibson did or Tiny did with their hands up and just saying, peace, peace, peace. No, you're going to get one to the jaw real quick, all of them. And so I don't care if it's 10 guys around me, I'm getting a couple of you at least first, So that's just me. Other red elephants, we just want to cover and report in full context exactly what's going on, because it's the film and footage that basically caused and forced, as much as she didn't want to do it, Nancy Pelosi to come out and condemn Antifa today. It's forced the mayor to basically want to classify them as a gang, even though he's part of BAM by any means necessary. It forces people to start paying attention to this and know that, no, this is not just a fringe. This is happening in schools all across the country. There are hundreds of thousands of Antifa members in the country versus 5,000 KKK members. So this forces the mainstream and the normies, is what we like to call them, to actually pay attention to this and say, hey, what the hell's going on in our schools? These boomer normie liberals that are 50 some odd years old who didn't have this in their schools, weren't taught to love Karl Marx, or weren't taught that communism is awesome, weren't taught that capitalism is the devil. They're like, what are our kids learning? Because they don't know. They probably don't know. Their kids don't talk to them about it. Their kids don't tell them that capitalism is bad and white people are evil. But this is what most, I would say at least 90% of the universities in our country are actually espousing to our children. And so our footage, Shuttershot 45 on YouTube, the Red Elephant, all these people that are all these people that are showing this footage as it happens, forces the narrative to change in the mainstream. So of course we're never going to stop. We're never going to stop doing this. We have to. I mean, we've changed so many hearts and minds. I mean, you saw the what's his name, Mr. Somerville from KTVU local news. He's a liberal. He got red pilled. He was like, I experienced hate today, but not from the Trump supporters. And he's a major news figure personality there. He got basically attacked by Antifa members. And he's in Berkeley. He's local. And so we have to continue to show these things.
As far as they're even showing that there's some people that I talked to today that are trying to remain anonymous and keep their anonymity because it's one of those things that they're targeting families. They're targeting, I mean, it's almost like, like I want to say like the, whatchamacallit, it's the, like the Joseph McCarthy and the Hollywood Blacklist era where they're going after families and friends and who your friends are, and they're keeping close eyes on you. Any of that kind of worry you at all as far as the lengths that they're going in trying to stop you guys?
I mean, I have a lot of guns. My wife has guns. So, I mean, step on my lawn, you're going to catch a bullet in the ass. That's as far as I can go.
Spoken like a true Chicago guy. I like it.
going to jobs and stuff like that, I don't have to worry about. I mean, my work is my human resource manager came to Laguna Beach rally, so there's no worries about that for me, at least. For as far as like going after people's jobs and doxing them or whatever. So I don't get scared about that type of stuff.
And then kind of going forward here, you guys are you guys are kind of starting small, but kind of for other people that want to join your cause, I guess kind of where do you guys plan on going from here? Where do you guys, what's the next step for the Red Elephants?
Well, we consider ourselves advocacy journalists. We're not objective journalists by any means. Obviously, we have a clear bias, but we do live stream in the full context. We should be able to hopefully start paying writers, anyone who wants to come on as a writer, maybe towards the end of the year. Most of our writers are contributors. Most of our live streamers across the country are contributors. So hopefully, we're starting small. We only have about maybe like around 200,000 people who are on our page on Facebook, maybe like 25,000 on YouTube. But that all came within a year. So hopefully by the time next year, we'll be able to branch out even more and bring people on. But we're a media company, and we don't go out and we don't organize stuff. We don't organize. People think that we organize rallies, but we don't. We don't have anything to do with the protesters. We just show up where they show up and then start filming.
And what's funny is with Liberty One TV, where it's kind of the same thing, where we're starting all these different media companies. one of the big things that is coming out with many of these media companies is the fact that there wasn't a lot of police help for you guys, that the police kind of stood down. Would you say that's kind of accurate in what you and the rest of the Red Elephants saw that day?
Oh, yeah, just like in the 15th, except the difference is we had about 700 people. They had 500, and they got kicked out of Berkeley when they tried to start their violence. But then on April 27th, DHS showed up, Department of Homeland Security, three different departments of police showed up and protected the scene, and Antifa didn't even show up. And guess what happened? No one got hurt. No one got punched. Nothing got wrecked. We had speeches, and then we left on April 27th. August 27th was a repeat of the April 15th, except we only had 12 people who showed up because the rally was canceled, and people got beat up. The rally didn't happen, and so, yeah, I mean, the cops stood down just like on April 15th. They stood down on August 27th. They were trying to reenact another Charlottesville. Just like in San Francisco, if the rally would have happened, some people are saying that it was a reenactment of Charlottesville. Basically, Nancy Pelosi calling it a KKK rally. Literally, that's what she said. And yes, the police stood down because we have them on film hiding and cowering away in a parking lot. They were scared. They stood down. As soon as Antifa showed up, they booked it.
Do you think any of it in their defense is that they really didn't have a chance, or that maybe with, a lot of the police brutality stories?
I mean, they didn't have a chance. That people are saying they didn't have a chance. They outnumbered Antifa, number one. Number two, when they were first there. Number two, they're men. Antifa is children with sticks. They have guns. Of course they had a chance. Number two, the mayor told them to stand down. So I'm sure that there were some police that wanted to do something, and you could see that in their eyes. Yeah, and you're probably going to get a lot of resignations from the Berkeley Police Department after this. I'm sure it happened April 15th, but I'm sure most of them wanted Antifa to win. I mean, when you live in Berkeley, if you live in Berkeley, you're probably 95% full-on Marxist, 95% of the population there in Berkeley, California. So the cops are probably mostly Marxists. So, yeah, they probably wanted to see Antifa win, so they didn't have a problem standing down. But, yeah, so I like police, but not them, not those types.
Anything else that's good to know from that day, from that weekend, that you think that you've seen that hasn't gotten out there, that needs to be out there, that people need to know about?
Yeah, I would say that where they were all grouped up in that parking lot. We got that film of them. It's on our YouTube channel for anyone who wants to go check it out. Also, check out the truck pulling up with hundreds of shields and sticks, passing them out to the Antifa members. When I'm talking about a truck, I'm not just talking about a pickup truck. I'm talking about a giant flatbed truck with shields and sticks pulled up right in front of the police as they were watching, right? A line of police watching, handing out sticks and shields. Police did nothing. That's probably the biggest thing right there.
Wow. Well, Vincent
it's
James.
It's on Rupley's YouTube channel. You can go look at it.
Well, Vincent James with the Red Elephants, thanks so much for sharing your story. We really appreciate it. Keep us informed. Keep in touch with us as far as other protests and rallies that you're going to be going to, because we're going to want to stay in touch and keep getting a lot of these stories out there.
Free thought for free people.